Spoiler alert, if you are not caught up in the My Hero manga, do not watch this video. If you're the type of person who likes to find out the bits and pieces of a story and put it together yourself, do not watch this video. I repeat, this video will contain major spoilers. Well, potential spoilers, but that's besides the point. You have been warned. Shoto Todoroki is one of the many main characters in Boku no Hero Academia, especially taking into consideration that he was one of the first few characters Horikoshi drew. He's definitely one of the more plot-heavy characters compared to the rest of the class. And it definitely shows. In battle, I refuse to use my left side. I can never use it to attack. I was determined about that. But when push came to shove, no. How could I let that? It's just what my old man expected. My dad, he's a powerful bastard who only thinks of becoming stronger. Yeah, he's gone all out to make a name for himself as a hero. But he's always seen that living legend, All Might, as a roadblock and an eyesore. My father could never be All Might on his own, so he came up with another plan. Ominous black panel? What's this about, Todoroki? Why are you telling me this? Quirk marriages. You've heard of them, yeah? They started becoming a problem during the second or third generation after quirks appeared. Strong individuals would choose a partner and force them into marriage for the sole purpose of passing the strengthened version of their own quirk. Those earlier generations were lacking in ethics. With his wealth and fame, my father made my mother's family agree to the marriage, all to get his hands on her quirk, raising me as a hero who could exceed All Might just to fulfill his own ambitions. I hate it, being no more than a tool for that human garbage. As I remember it, Mom was always crying. I can't stand to see that left side of yours, she said, before throwing scalding water in my face. In short, not using my left side against you was my revenge on him. Never using my rotten father's quirk. No. By rising to the top without using it, I'll have denied him everything. Now in this panel, we can see that Midoriya can't even relate to Todoroki, while the one who can is stuck on the sidelines. What if he would have approached Bakugo instead of Midoriya? We live in totally different worlds. It's chilling. As you can see, there's not much to say between them two. We're both aiming for the top, but we're still so different. Your connection with All Might. Keep it to yourself if you want. Either way, I'll rise above you with just my right side. Sorry for wasting your time. With a backstory like that, he'd be the protagonist if this were a comic book. How do I respond to that? I've always had help. No matter the situation, I've only come this far because other people helped me. The greatest hero, who smiles as he saves people. All Might. I want to be like him. For that I have to become the strongest. Might seem like a lame motivation compared to yours, but I'm not gonna lose. All the people who've helped me, that's how I'll repay them. Let me return your declaration of war with my own. I'm gonna beat you. Now, in order to fully break down Todoroki, we need to also break down Endeavor. So in case you haven't read his character file, allow me to fill you in. Horikoshi writes, he was originally meant to be a part of the UA facility, but he ended up being too much of a one-dimensional powerhouse without much else going on, so I decided against that. But this is when things get a little interesting in his file. Story-wise, he's basically a terrible father, but I hope to eventually portray exactly why that is. Now the big question is, what makes Endeavor a shitty father? He's abusive, and he may or may not have forced his wife into marriage. And besides those things, I can't really think of anything too concrete to why he'd be a shitty father. For example, Todoroki believes his mom was forced into marrying Endeavor, but that's kinda hard to believe since the flower from their first date is one of her prized possessions. It just doesn't add up. She has the same flower from their first date in the same hospital he sent her to. But he abuses her and forced her into marriage? It seems like Todoroki might have formed a misconception on his dad. Use all your might. After all, that'll be your last swing, All Might. Wounded heroes are always the most fearsome ones. In my dreams, I sometimes still see you coming towards me. Your face dead set, despite your strewn bowels. I suppose I should watch out for swings 2 and 3 then. What the hell? You bastard! The hell's that body, All Might? Though they were all mid-range Nomus, don't tell me you brought all of them to heel already. I must applaud you, number 2. You're certainly a man who clawed his way to the top. I studied and trained so hard in so many ways to surpass you. And the more I did, the more deeply I felt it. All Might, the gap between us, the sight of you with your back to me, the despair of it, drove me to... How did your back get so pitiful? Drove you to what, Endeavor? Drove you to what? What was this other plan mentioned in the ominous black panel? Todoroki also mentioned that the previous generation that manifested their quirks lacked ethics. It just really has me wondering on what exactly Endeavor did.
Which one is the strongest? Interesting. You're in my way.
If I take what he said at face value, his goal seems to be fighting strong opponents. That's the thought process of a pretty competent villain. My body temperature has gotten quite high. In order to continue its fight with me, it scattered the reinforcements. This Nomu is sentient.
Are you not gonna attack anymore? Or can you not attack anymore? If that's the case.
It has a good intuition too. Bright Scorching Fist compresses an extremely high temperature flame and releases it for a finishing blow. If I fire it recklessly, my body temperature rises and weakens my physical functions. But in addition to losing in both speed and strength, I don't know how many quirks he has. Enough! Any hesitation will be fatal. My body continues to overheat. That's why you Prominence burn! Just watch me. I'm not gonna let them see me with such pitiful composure.
Too bad.
His head! He's throwing it while it's cut off! Endeavor! Eri-chan, let's go back to your room. Everyone, I'm leaving Eri with you guys. I'm going to Todoroki's room. Endeavor!
Boring. Is there not a stronger hero around?
You have to become a hero worthy of respect. Todoroki! Todoroki-kun! My father's the #1 hero. He's known as the greatest man. At present, the heroes are executing battle evacuation procedures. However, Endeavor, who was the first hero on the scene, has been... This scene. It makes you remember, even if you don't want to, the nightmare from 3 months ago.
Too slow.
Did you see that? God, why did something like that have to come out of nowhere? If it doesn't let everyone in the city go.
More strength.
At this rate, things will turn out even worse than they did in Kamino. What is he doing? If you can't take it on, retreat and wait for reinforcements. You understand this best, don't you? That you can't become like All Might. So hurry up and stop fighting. He's lost it, hasn't he? Abandoning the kids you didn't need and driving mom to the point of hospitalization. Just give up and get away from there. Natsu, there are things you can't accept, even if you understand why they're happening, right? He won't give up. He's the worst at giving up, out of anybody. Endeavor is chasing it.
So, you have regeneration too?
Don't put me in the same boat as you. I'm already at the point where my body won't move. I'll propel my immobile body with the power of my flames. I'm grateful for the pain. It's keeping me conscious. You won't take me down so easily. I'll find a way to prevail, even with this cloudy vision. Raise the firepower! More! Even more!
That regenerating bastard. A head injury should be fatal, right? It's now unthinkable that I could capture it alive. Surpass his reaction speed. Surpass it until that face of his is turned to ash. I won't let you take me down this easily.
That's the ticket. Endeavor-san, you won't get the destructive power you need from my feathers. But if it's speed we're talking about, we're evenly matched. You know, I've always been watching, so I know. There wasn't even a single person who truly sought to surpass him. You were the only one who was seriously trying. Come on, man, can't you see it's impossible? How ham-handed can a guy get? My feathers. I sent them to you ahead of time. Let my feathers raise your firepower! I'll push you forward, number one! Expectations and anxieties. He burned them all away in the flames of justice. Now, as you can see, Endeavor isn't necessarily a shitty person. Even though he can't really see his kids because he's too busy saving lives. So what exactly does Horikoshi mean when he calls Endeavor a shitty father? What is he talking about? What does he have in store for Endeavor as a character? Endeavor genetically modified his body so he could regenerate. And this doesn't come across as the most ethical act. But at the end of the day, it helps him save more lives. This kind of takes me back to what Todoroki said earlier. When he said the earlier generation of Quirk users lacked ethics. Endeavor may have crossed this questionable boundary by modifying himself, but that doesn't change the fact that he's still a hero. After all, he saved the most lives. I can't believe you actually used the same pose as All Might. No, I used the other arm. His was the left. Whatever, same difference. Anyway, thank you for winning. I give it 0 points. I got off to a pretty horrible start. Sorry, but even so, this will surely, definitely be huge. First things first though, we have to do something about your injuries and stop the bleeding. I can't even move an inch. Call someone in. Hold up for just a minute. A lot of things went beyond my expectations. But, well, let's do things in order. It's nice to meet you, I guess. Endeavor. My vision is blurry. Who? Horikoshi stays teasing us, guys. I guess Endeavor is just coincidentally blind right as soon as Dabi pulls up. Didn't something like this happen before? Nah, I'm probably tripping. Caught wind that you were here, you see. You. Are you the one who murdered Snatch? Or so I hear. The League of Villains. Dabi. Snafu doesn't ring a bell. More importantly, let's have a little chat. Opportunities like this don't come so often. Blue flames? That's not Endeavor! Man, they're strong. It's him. That's a bold move. What's he trying to accomplish? Catch you later, Mr. Number 1 Hero. I'm sure we'll have another chance to talk, but until then, break a leg out there! But don't go kicking the bucket! Todoroki Enji! I think it's safe to say that Dabi is Toya Todoroki, aka Todoroki's brother. Not only because Horikoshi likes to tease us about it, but because of Dabi's blue flames. His blue flames are greater than Endeavor's, but he inherited Rei's weak constitution and he can't handle the burning, hence his nasty ass skin. Now why would Toya suddenly hate Endeavor, rename himself as Dabi, and become a member of the League of Villains? Is it because Endeavor pushed him to his limits during training and he severely burned himself? So he holds a grudge against Endeavor and hates his family? No. That sounds crazy to me at least, and very generic. Like, if he just had a beef with Endeavor, why would he not be with his family? Because they all don't fuck with him. Him and Todoroki could even relate on that, and they could just be heroes on their own without Endeavor. So again, what could have caused this tragic shift for Dabi's character? Or should I say, Toya? The world doesn't know about what he did to you and the rest of us kids. How he treated his family. He doesn't appear on talk shows and stuff after all. Hey, you know we're not supposed to talk about. It's okay, Fuyumi. I don't remember him well. At this point, he basically feels like a complete stranger. But I can't forgive him for how he treated you and Shoto, as though you didn't exist. Even after 10 years, you've never received an apology, right? Whether it's the past or his blood ties, it feels like he intends to leave it all behind. That's wrong. Why are you covering for him, Mom? This flower, I told him I liked it. Around the time we first met, but only once. Dad came here? It seems like he's come here many times, but we still haven't met face to face. I'm still too afraid. My doctor also said it would be a bad idea.
You just scramble in the raw egg and then BAM!
Nice work out there. You must be tired. Long time no see. Shoto even went out of his way to get permission to leave school grounds, you know. I told the teacher he was welcome to come in too, but he respectfully declined. Well, anyway, I'll just say congrats on a job well done, and leave it at that.
That's a nasty scar you got there.
Hey you two, can't you at least manage a welcome back? We all promised we'd thank him today, didn't we? Dad's finally trying to reflect on his past and show more concern for his family, you know. Just because you hate him doesn't mean you should leave it written all over your faces like that. I can hear you. Sorry sis, I just can't do this.
Natsu!
Natsuo, if you have something to say, then go ahead and say it. Say it? That's rich coming from the guy who wouldn't even look me in the eye for all these years. You've got some nerve, you know that? It's funny. I had no idea soba was Shoto's favorite food until today. You took special care to never let us, your failures, into his life after all. Natsu. He's not leaving anything behind. Not his past nor his family. I know for sure that he's trying to face them head on. For whatever reason, Mom and Sis both seem to have no problem with forgiving you. But as far as I'm concerned, that crazy bastard we knew all too well is still going strong. They're acting like you've changed, but you haven't changed a bit. You completely neglected us, and left us to listen to Mom screaming and Shoto crying. Not to mention what happened with Big Bro Toya. You going off and being some strong villain doesn't make all that just disappear, damn it! And here you are, deciding now's the time to have a change of heart. You just one-sidedly try and come back into our lives. It makes me sick! Do you have any idea how any of us feel? Endeavor the hero. He's amazing. He's remarkable. But pretty much everything Natsu said was right on the money, I think. I still haven't forgiven you for how you tormented Mom. That's why I want to see what kind of dad you'll become from here on out. One small inspiration really can completely change a person. I know that better than anyone. Shoto, I'll bring you some more soup. I became #1 against my will in the worst possible way. I felt nothing but irritation and bafflement in my heart, but I continued to do my job. For what reason we're equipped with our powers, Endeavor? The answer to that must be quite simple. Power. A reason to reign above them all. When he said those words suddenly, these trite, simple feelings welled up within me. I must secure a future for them, if that is the duty of the top hero. Then, what of the future I cut short? I have no intention of asking for forgiveness after all that's happened. Dad, now you're running off somewhere? Fuyumi, I'm sorry for everything. Now that we've got all of the vegetables, the veggies, the green shit on your dinner plate that you don't want to eat, but you know you inevitably have to eat out of the way, we can finally go to the real meat on this dinner plate. Yeah. Basically, if you're someone who bitches over looking at manga, I got something in store for you. Thank you guys for continuing to watch this video also, because, you know, I know there's guys out here going all like, oh, this is like the 20-minute mark, I'm not fucking with this, man, and they dip. But, you know, since you guys stayed this long, you guys are gonna see the real shit now. Alright, let's start this off with Todoroki's UA file. In case you guys haven't read it yet, I'm gonna read it for you. He can freeze anything that touches the right half of his body, and his left half erupts with a blazing inferno. He can give himself frostbite if he keeps freezing things for too long, so he has to use the heat on his left side to regulate his own body temperature. If he uses his left side for too long, well, what in tarnation could happen? If Todoroki kept using his fire without regulating his temperature by using his ice side, he would burn himself like his older brother Toya. You cannot fight for very long, or else you'll be burned by your own flames. Overheating seems like it's a major setback for Dabi, and it also seems like it's a major setback for Endeavor as well, especially taking into consideration that Endeavor's physical body functions begin to weaken at higher temperatures. This seems like it would be a real issue when trying to compete against All Might, let alone surpass him. Dabi has Rei's weak constitution and stronger flames than Endeavor. So basically when Dabi uses his power, it's just like Endeavor's, but it's amplified. His flames are hotter, but he also burns more. One could quite easily assume that this would pose a major problem for Endeavor. He had a Quirk marriage with Rei, but it wasn't going according to plan. One kid burns himself alive and the other kids are born quirkless. What to do, Endeavor? What to do? So Endeavor comes up with another plan. We don't officially know what this plan is, but from Todoroki's perspective, Endeavor forced his mom into marriage to use her quirk. But that's clearly not the case here. After having 3 kids that failed to meet his criteria, what if Endeavor took matters into his own hands? What if Endeavor created Todoroki?
It's been so long. Last time we talked was 10 years ago, right? I spotted you and I figured I should say hello.
Oh yeah? If that's all, then get out of my sight. As if I'd have tea with you. Ridiculous. I gotta take a leak. Get lost. Why such a party pooper? Your son, little Shoto. He pulled off an impressive victory, all without using his left side. Guess someone's been raising him well. What are you trying to say? Actually, I wanted to ask you for some tips about training the next generation. You think I'd tell you anything? Always with that damn happy-go-lucky attitude. Pisses me off. Sorry then. Know this much. I'll mold him into a hero who surpasses you. That's the only reason. I created that kid! Endeavor's current children were far from being what he needed to surpass All Might. Their genes consisted of frail and weak physical makeups. They were failures. Failed experiments. So Endeavor, having the world's #1 hero corporation, with more than enough resources to genetically enhance his body, he genetically engineered a new son. The perfect son. Out of my way. You disgrace me, Shoto. You could have crushed both the obstacle course and the cavalry battle if you used your left side. Grow up. Stop rebelling like some petulant child. Remember, your duty is to surpass All Might. Understand? You're different than your brothers. You're my greatest creation. That's all you've got to say to me? I'll win this with Mom's power alone. I'll never use your power in battle. That may be good enough while you're a school kid, but you'll reach your limit soon enough. I hate it. Being no more than a tool for that human garbage. My body continues to overheat. That's why you Don't look at them, Shoto. Your brothers. They belong to a different world than you. Shut up! Get up. You won't even be able to defeat third-rate villains, let alone All Might, if you get knocked down by a hit like that.
Stop it, please!
He's only 5 years old! Yes, he's already 5! So get out of my way! Why does Dabi hate his own father, let alone his family? It's because he is jealous of Todoroki. But This isn't your ordinary jealousy. While Dabi was training to become a hero with his broken quirk, similar to how Midoriya was trying to get used to One For All, he would damage himself due to his flames. But Toya was determined to become a hero, just like his father. He would attend school and work towards becoming a hero. Endeavor, on the other hand, would be training his replacement behind the scenes, along with his mother, who eventually became fond of Todoroki, and eventually view him as her own child. This is why she would get upset over Endeavor's harsh training. But this raises a huge eyebrow for me. Why did she hurt Todoroki? Todoroki thinks it's because his left side resembles that of his father, and because of that, she couldn't stand the sight of him. I don't feel like this is the sole reason as to why she burned him. If that were the case, why didn't she ever hurt the other kids? She could have hurt anybody, but she picks the odd one out. Why is that exactly? Wrong place, wrong time? Possibly, but I think there's a little more to it than that. And like I mentioned previously in this video, if she hated Endeavor that much that she would hurt her own child like that, why would she keep that flower in the same hospital he sent her to? Why didn't she hurt any of the other kids for looking like Endeavor? She was already on edge from taking care of a child that wasn't really hers, a child Endeavor made. But what caused this to happen? Yet again, I feel as if Todoroki as a child misinterpreted what exactly happened. He was eavesdropping and was assuming his mother was talking about Endeavor, but in actuality, she was talking about him, Shoto Todoroki. Mom, I know it's not right, but I can't do it anymore. The children, they're like him, more and more every day. And Shoto, his left side, sometimes I look at him and hate what I see. I can't raise him anymore. I shouldn't raise him.
Mommy?
What makes this scene a crucial part of my theory is when Todoroki's mom speaks on the phone. In the first speech bubble, as the viewer or reader, we are following Todoroki's perspective and following his assumption. When Todoroki's mom says, the children are like him more and more every day, we originally believed that she's referring to Endeavor, but I believe she's actually referring to Todoroki the entire time. She didn't want to raise him anymore because she shouldn't. After all, he was bioengineered, made in a lab by Endeavor. After raising him for so long, she started to see her kids as if they were lab rats like Todoroki. I feel like at that moment in time, right before she poured boiling hot water on him, she finally realized just how grotesque her son really looked.
Where's Mommy?
She hurt you, so I had her put away. The fool. During this crucial time in your development, no less. I'll show him. It's all your fault. Don't run away from me. Don't run away from yourself. Stand up! Quit pretending to be so frail. Toya's case was regrettable. He possesses even greater firepower than mine, and yet, he inherited Rei's weak constitution. He was almost perfect. Almost. But you're the one, Shoto, at long last. To you, and only you, I can pass on this technique. With it, you can accomplish my ambition. Now back to Dabi's jealousy. What would justify Dabi's change of heart from wanting to be a hero to becoming a villain and hating his family? Dabi was somewhat replaced by Todoroki, but that doesn't seem like a valid reason to suddenly hate everyone. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, he could have easily done his own thing, just like Todoroki, so why didn't he? He didn't, because there's something more to Todoroki. Toya was almost perfect, using flames stronger than even Endeavor. Possessing blue flames, who would want that to go to waste? So what if, in order to make Todoroki, he cloned Dabi? We all know how much Horikoshi loves Star Wars, through his many references in the My Hero Academia manga, and even making fan art for it. What if he took some inspiration from Star Wars sci-fi, and expanded on the horrors of cloning, I think this would be a valid reason as to why Toya would abandon his family and take on his new name as Dabi. This would explain why he has a special interest in Todoroki. His own father cloned and replaced him. You can kinda see why he'd be pissed. We've already seen Todoroki use Endeavor's flames. So when will he use the blue flames like Dabi? In order to do this, Todoroki would have to be pushed to his very limits and be put in a situation where he'd be forced to use his fire. If he ever fought the Paranormal Liberation Front, he would have to fight Apocrypha. Apocrypha is a quirk user whose ability is ice manipulation. Todoroki would be unable to use ice against him because he would just control it. Even Dabi, using blue flame, struggled against him. So I think this would be the perfect fight for Todoroki to develop his ability and get blue flames. There will be a point in the story when Todoroki and Dabi eventually fight, like a final fight. And when this fight comes, I feel like Todoroki will completely overwhelm Dabi. It also feels like that this is a little foreshadowed in the tournament arc, when Todoroki loses control and overkills Sarah with his ice. What would happen if this exact same scenario played out, but with his fire instead? I don't know for sure whether or not he's gonna burn Dabi or Apocrypha to death like this, but he's definitely burning somebody to death. And this is when things get a little subliminal. Horikoshi has drawn fantasy art from My Hero, and you can draw connections from this art and compare it to the actual story that's happening. And when you look at previous artwork for Todoroki and look at his most recent artwork for Todoroki, this man has a whole demon face. It's almost as if Midoriya awakened the beast in Todoroki.